First thing, Trump repeatedly told fraud claims baseless. Panel hears. William Barr said ex-president's allegations were bullshit, while several advisors told him not to declare victory on election night. Plus, the Bourne Identity at 20. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6 insurrection yesterday scrutinized the conspiracy theories that led a group of Donald Trump's supporters to attack the U.S. Capitol, and produced testimony damning of the former U.S. president. During the 2-hour hearing, committee members meticulously documented how several of Trump's senior advisors urged him not to declare victory on election night, as votes were being counted. When Trump began spreading lies about widespread fraud in the election, some of his top aides, including the ex-Attorney General and former Trump loyalist William Barr, repeatedly told him the claims were based. We will tell the story of how Donald Trump lost an election and knew he lost an election, and as a result of his loss decided to wage an attack on our democracy, said the Democratic chair of the committee, the Mississippi Congressman Benny. What did they find out about Trump claiming victory on election night? Trump rejected several advisors' guidance to wait for more votes to be counted. Trump instead followed the advice of an apparently inebriated Rudy Giuliani to falsely declare victory before a winner was known, Liz Cheney said at the hearing. What has Trump said in response? After yesterday's hearing, Trump issued a 12-page statement calling the investigation a kangaroo court and a distraction, and repeating false claims of voter fraud. This is not hopeless, the progressive prosecutors who vow not to enforce abortion bans. Michigan's Attorney General, Dana Nessel, never thought she would have an abortion. But after finding herself pregnant with triplets in 2002, she faced an unenviable choice: abort one, or miscarry all three. I took my doctor's advice, which I should have been able to do, she says in a phone interview. Nessel plans to protect that same right for residents of her state if Roe v. Wade is overturned this summer, as a leaked Supreme Court draft opinion indicates is all but certain. Poppy Noor writes, if the draft opinion stands, 26 states are likely or certain to ban abortion. In Michigan, a 1931 law would be triggered, making abortion illegal in almost all cases except to save the life of the pregnant person. Nessel says she will not enforce the ban in Michigan, along with at least a dozen law enforcement officials across the country, a bold statement that sets the U.S. up for a complex legal landscape with different enforcement regimes in different states, and even within them. Steve Descano was thinking about his 10-year-old daughter when he pledged not to enforce abortion bans in his home county of Fairfax, Virginia. The district attorney of Bexar County in Texas, Joe Gonzalez, has also pledged non-enforcement. Will there be a backlash? Yes. These officials are likely to face swift backlash from the right, including, in some cases, retaliation from state authorities who will demand they enforce the law, but they are determined to press ahead. Ukraine asks the West for huge rise in heavy artillery supply. Ukraine has called on the West to supply 300 rocket launchers, 500 tanks and 1,000 howitzers, amid concern in some quarters it is pushing its demands for NATO standard weapons. The maximalist request was made publicly by Mihailo Podolyak, a key presidential advisor, on Twitter yesterday, where he argued that Ukraine needed heavy weapons parity to defeat Russia he said that would require 300 multiple launch rocket systems, MLRS, vastly more than 7 or so committed thus far by the US and UK and greater than the 60 or more that other advisors have previously said would meet its needs. A special meeting of defense ministers takes place tomorrow in Brussels, which will be chaired by Lloyd Austin, the US Defense Secretary, to discuss future weapons donations, the third such meeting since the war. What's happening in Donbas? The intense battle for Severodonetsk will be remembered as one of the most brutal Europe has ever seen and is taking a terrifying toll on Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky said. What else is happening? Here's what we know on day 111 of the invasion.